Today I'm talking about 3 View Askew sequels slash spin-offs. And the names of those 3 movies are Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, Clerks II, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. First up is Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. This is a 2019 film that is more or less a reboot of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And I had seen it before, but was more lukewarm on it the first time around. I thought it was fine, it was nice, but it didn't really do a whole lot for me emotionally. And this time around though, it struck a good solid chord with me. The basic premise is Jay and Silent Bob are again going to Hollywood to stop a movie about them being made. And what I find so interesting too is a lot of my issues that I have with Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which I just liked. I thought it was fine. I think this movie addressed all of those issues really well. But the main one kind of being is that Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, it got distracted by a lot of things, and those things didn't feel naturally incorporated into the story. Whereas here, when they get distracted by stuff, it feels very fundamental to the story, and like it feels like the next logical step for the story to go. The shining standout of this movie is Harley Quinn Smith, Kevin Smith's daughter. She's in a lot of his films, and this is without a doubt her best performance in any of his films, and she is what made this movie. Like in particular, there's a scene where they're in a van and she gives this big, deep, emotional speech about her dad never being there for her, and I legitimately started to cry. It was so beautiful. And like that's the one thing I really remembered about the first time I watched it, was that scene was really good. This time around, like I would say that scene is what kicks off this movie being really good, and then it just proceeds to continue being solid for the rest of the film. Really everything with Harley is just so spot on. I'm kind of surprised this movie didn't launch her career into something more than just working with her dad, because hot damn, that was just so beautiful and emotional. It was written so well, but Harley just added so much to it. So yeah, there's definitely a Kevin Smith charm to this film that I feel like he can be really hit or miss with. And when Kevin gets more goofy into silly shenanigans, they can be too much for me, but when the charm is there, I don't mind the goofy stuff so much. And this is a good example of the charm really working. I will say though, it felt like the movie wanted to be a sequel to lots of things. Like we get a Matt Damon cameo and he gives us an update on what's been happening to him since Dogma. There is an important scene in this that is a big follow-up to Chasing Amy, and honestly I think they handled it really, really well here. So though at times giving us an update to all of these characters felt a bit ham-fisted, it did work more often than not, especially the Chasing Amy stuff. So yeah, no, I enjoyed this movie a good solid amount. It's not my favorite Kevin Smith movie, but it is definitely a well-made film that is worth checking out. I will say, I think the emotions mostly work as a standalone film, but I think you would get a lot more out of it if you are well versed in the View Askew universe. So I would kind of cautiously recommend it if you haven't seen any Kevin Smith movies before, but I would for sure recommend it if you are a Kevin Smith fan and you've seen most of his other films. So yeah, no, it's a good film that I would just kind of specifically recommend, if that makes sense. So yeah. Next up is Clerks II. This is a 2006 film that I have seen before, but not since it came out. I was 15, 16 when it came out and enjoyed the hell out of it back then. I remember crazy loving like the no ass to mouth stuff. The donkey show was hilarious. Rosario Dawson was so beautiful. I got a big old crush on her back in the day. This time around, I was more lukewarm to it. If you're unfamiliar, the basic premise is the clerks from the first Clerks have moved on to a fast food restaurant and are basically just up to their same old shenanigans, and that's about it. The first thing that jumped out to me is Kevin Smith casts his wife in the movie, as he usually does, and that's fine, I have no problems with that. It's just strange that he cast her in this movie to solely make out with another man. Like most of her scenes are just making out with the main character of the movie. It is acting, it's just pretend, but like, dude wrote the story. He did not need to make make his wife mac on some other dude for so much of this movie. If it's your kink, that's your kink, but I don't really want to see your kink. The really odd conversation that I'm not entirely sure how to feel about was the whole racial slur conversation. Because a recurring bit within the movie is Randall doesn't know that the term porch monkey is racist. And then whilst everyone else is trying to convince him that it's racist, he then says, "Oh, ton of racial slurs," and it's just really awkward. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I didn't enjoy it, that's for sure. I mean, like, they make a point of he's an idiot, but he doesn't learn from his stupidity. He's just kind of deep rooted into it, and like, I guess that is how real life is, that people don't want to admit that they're wrong about stuff. But at the same time, I don't know, it just feels kind of icky. And to go off of it, there was a rant about Lord of the Rings being dumb, made by Randall, and was just word for word a rant that Kevin Smith had done. So like, that is his opinion, which I do want to talk more about Lord of the Rings specifically, but like, knowing that the Lord of the Rings thing is Kevin Smith's actual opinion, to then go back to the whole conversation about Porch Monkey puts that in a whole different light. Cause like, even if Kevin Smith wrote the racial slur thing to Randall's just being an idiot, he believes in the Lord of the Rings stuff. Does that in turn mean that he believes in the Porch Monkey stuff as well too? So like, it feels mixed emotions. But also, to clap back at his whole rant against Lord of the Rings, it boils down to, he's like, it's just a movie of people walking. And if we're gonna oversimplify Lord of the Rings, his movies are all people just standing around. That's it. Like, yes, obviously they're doing more than just standing around, but if you're gonna simplify both things, at least in Lord of the Rings, there's literal movement. In his movies, it's people just standing still. On the whole, I like Kevin Smith movies. I enjoy this universe, but like, his argument can easily be turned against his entire career. It's a poor argument, is what I'm getting at. On the whole, I would say the movie just doesn't quite have the same charm as the original one does. Like, it's nice, it's fun, it's cute, there are good moments, but I don't feel like it blended together the same magical way that the first one did. So like, it's not bad by any means. It's just kind of fine, very middle of the road. I do like what it's going for in the end, though I do have some more criticisms on it, but I feel like I kind of talked about this movie enough. So I liked it. I thought it was fine. As a standalone film, you could probably enjoy it. I mean, I did when I was 15. You'll definitely get a lot more out of it, though, if you are going through his filmography in chronological order. So it's a nice little film that I would only kind of sort of recommend. It's definitely not his best film by any means, but it's also nowhere near his worst film. So yeah, it's an alright little film. And lastly is Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. This is a 2001 film, and it's technically just a spin-off, but it kind of feels more like a sequel to me because it really does continue a lot of beats from his previous films. The basic premise is Jay and Silent Bob had previously become comic book characters, and now that comic book is becoming a comic book movie, and so they're gonna go to Hollywood to stop it because they don't want haters on the internet to just trash them for the rest of forever. And it was fine. I liked it. It's definitely Kevin Smith playing into the goofy stuff that he loves a lot. It's really just like a live action cartoon at times, and that doesn't often work for me, but there's definitely parts of this that I enjoyed. I really wasn't that into Jay as the lead of the film. He's not that strong of an actor here. He does a lot better in the reboot. To be fair to him, he was incredibly up the entire time he made this movie. Like, he has no memories of making this movie because he was high or drunk the entire time. And so like, with knowing that, it's kind of impressive that he was able to stand, but just from an acting perspective, it wasn't great. There was some charm to the movie that did get me. I liked Ben Affleck in this. Him pointing out how incredibly dumb Jay was felt very validating because he is just such a creepy weirdo. And then I really did not care for the monkey stuff. I don't know why that was here. familiar, it felt strange, I was not a fan. Will Ferrell has a small role in this, and I definitely enjoyed him. He was a lot of fun. It's very okay. It's a stoner cartoon comedy, basically, that really didn't do a whole lot for me, but I didn't have a bad experience by any means. So would I recommend it? If you want a dumb, fun, stoner comedy, yeah, no, look no further. This will definitely check all of the boxes for you, but it doesn't have the emotional core that I usually look for. So if you need that, I would caution against it. So yeah, it was alright. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Jay and Silent Bob Reboot sitting at number 14 in the quite like section, right at the top. And then after that is Clerks II sitting number 28 in the middle of the like section. And then just behind that is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back sitting at number 29, again in the like section. And this is out of a total of 45 old movies so far this year.